Go forward, not backward. Accept the spirit of prophecy as one of the greatest gifts given to the Seventh-day Adventist Church, not just for the past, but even more importantly for the future. While the Bible is paramount in our estimation as the ultimate authority and final arbiter of truth, the spirit of prophecy provides clear, inspired counsel to aid our application of Bible truth. It is a heaven-sent guide to instruct the church in how to carry out its mission. It is a reliable theological expositor of the Scriptures. The spirit of prophecy is to be read, believed, applied, and promoted. It is not to be used as a club to beat people over the head. But it is to be regarded and employed as a marvelous blessing to direct God's church in the last days of Earth's history. Let me repeat a conviction of mine, a personal conviction. There is nothing antiquated or archaic about the spirit of prophecy. It is for today and until Christ returns. Members of God's remnant church, God is telling us we have come to the end of time. Go forward. Go forward in lifting up Christ and His righteousness, in proclaiming God's grace. Go forward in presenting the three angels' messages. Go forward in pleading for revival and reformation. Go forward in following the Bible as it reads. Go forward in reading and adhering to the counsel of the spirit of prophecy. Go forward in proclaiming to the world the good news of salvation and the imminent second coming of Jesus Christ. God's grace is leading people all over the world to go forward. We must continually lift up the banner of public evangelism at all times, as well as our personal witness. The proclamation of God's grace and the three angels' messages are changing people everywhere. The Holy Spirit is working on the hearts of those who hear this precious Advent message through your words and evangelistic witness, your proclamation of God's grace. We need to integrate evangelism into every aspect of life, such as many places have done throughout the world, including the great South American division, where integrated evangelism is simply a way of life. One example of this comes to us from the Euro-Asia division. A few years ago, Vasily was a police officer in Moldova. He became convicted about Bible truth and this precious Advent message, and wanted to be baptized as a Seventh-day Adventist. When he told his family about his newfound faith, his father and mother said they would disown him. His brother said he would no longer consider him to be a brother. His wife, Galina, said she would divorce him, and his police commander said he would never give him Sabbath off. Vasily agonized with God, praying that He would give him a direct answer to prayer through simply opening his Bible to a text. Now, we don't recommend that kind of method, but he did it. What should he do? He opened his Bible, and by God's grace, his eyes caught the words of Matthew 10:35-38, where Jesus explains how family can be our enemies and says that if you love father and mother more than Christ, you are not worthy of Christ. Vasily felt led to heed God's command to take up his cross and follow Him. Vasily thanked God. He made his decision. He went to the Seventh-day Adventist Church and was baptized. When he told his wife that he had been baptized, she said she already had divorce papers ready. Vasily didn't get agitated or angry, but he told Galina he loved her. Believing that they would support her objections, Galina accompanied Vasily to tell his parents the news of his baptism. But to her surprise, Vasily's parents and brother accepted his decision without objection. Vasily next went to his commanding police officer with his letter of resignation, explaining that he had been baptized. The officer said, "What is that? Take it away. And take off 1 week to think about things." Well, Vasily knew his answer wouldn't be different, but he took the week off anyway. And after 1 week, Vasily returned and again offered his resignation. Instead of accepting it, the commanding officer promoted Vasily so he wouldn't have a Sabbath conflict. About this time, Vasily's wife Galina developed a serious problem at her work where she was the cashier. The total for the day didn't add up, and the company said she owed the money. In desperation, she asked Vasily to pray for her, and he invited her to pray with him about the problem. The next day, Galina found the accounting error for the exact amount of money. Vasily invited her to give her heart to God for answering their prayer, but at that time she refused. Later, Galina's mother got cancer, and Vasily and Galina visited her and prayed for her. Through God's intervention, she was healed. Galina's heart was softened, and she went straight to the Seventh-day Adventist Church and was baptized. I'm so happy to report to you today that Vasily Gerachuk is now the treasurer of the Moldova Union. And by God's grace, Vasily and Galina are present with us today. Wherever you are, would you stand to your feet?